Afternoon, folks. Well, we'll put this one in the category of you didn't already have enough stuff to worry about while you're out there on the road. Because this one's bad, especially if you own your own truck. Since there's been shortages in things like tires and batteries and parts and diesel fuel and everything else, well, it naturally breeds an underworld to acquire these items, and it's usually at your expense. What I got here is a couple of stories. First one's from Memphis. Somebody's going around Memphis to trucking companies in the middle of the night and stealing the tires off the parked trucks. And not just stealing them in little quantities either. Last one they hit, they stole 25 tires. That's big money. For you people that don't know, with a tractor trailer, you can pop the outside tire of each rim off without even jacking the truck up. All you got to do is let the air out of the tire and have you a couple bust the bead, have you a couple of tire bars, and a good tire man can have a tire off in a minute. Now, I'm sure this is somebody they're selling them to people like, Rick's Truck Service, little independent roadside service companies. Probably give them a hell of a deal on them. And the guy who owns the truck service, he knows what they are, but he ain't asking no questions. And this is just as easy as happen to you at your truck parked. Hell, these guys, they'll take it off your truck while you're in there asleep. And there's really not a whole lot you knew about it. Just try to park in well-lit areas and such like that. And a lot of guys take their truck home for the weekend. And they can't park it at their house, so they park it somewhere in town. And they get hit hard. And they're taking things off these trucks like tires, batteries. All trucks have at least 3 batteries. A lot have 4. The diesel fuel, they're siphoning the diesel fuel out of them. Any other common things that they can, high dollar items, or if they look up in your truck and see a GPS stuck to the windshield or something like that, well, it's bye-bye window. I highly recommend, if you ever park your truck and get out of it, don't leave anything in sight. Somebody wants it, they gonna get it. But yeah, diesel fuel is another big one right now. I've had diesel fuel stolen from me over the years several times. I went through a stretch there that every time I pulled in a rest area in Florida and went to bed, they drained my reefer tank. But yeah, the thieves are out in force because there's a demand for these items. So keep your head on a swivel, and I hope you don't get hit. Because if you lose all your tires, or lose a couple tires off your truck, replacing them's getting to where it's not so easy. There's not a real shortage, but if you've got an oddball size or something like that, yeah, you might have trouble finding it. In the next story, this is in a little bit different direction. There are 3 fellers running around the Midwest hooking the trailer loads of meat. And they obviously had a buyer in South Florida because they were hauling it to South Florida and selling it. Best I could tell from the story, they were going to drop yards for packing plants. I mean, we've all been there. A lot of those packing plants don't keep all the trailers inside the gate because they don't have room. But they just go hook to a trailer somewhere, falsify a set of bills. If you're in Minnesota or Wisconsin, you can be in Miami in a day and a half. A lot of times they're probably getting the trailer down there and getting the stuff sold off it before The packing plant even knows the trailer's missing. But they busted him, so you ain't gotta worry about those three. But this is a common item. They busted a guy here a while back. I'm not sure where it was. If it was Arkansas or where it was. But he was going to he had a little day cab and he was going to a big, huge drop lot for a distribution center. And he just rolled up in there and hooked to an empty trailer and drag it off. He dragged it to his house and he had a barn. He'd drag it up in. And he'd scrap it. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if you realize it, but a typical reefer trailer will bring about $3,000 scrap value. The only way they caught him was the police drug helicopter, their drug task force or whatever, was out flying over the country one day, and fly over his property, and noticed he had wheels and tires for trucks and rear ends in reefer units. He had hundreds of reefer units out there, and rear ends and thousands of tires, and there ain't no telling how many trailers this guy had stole. So they started watching the place, and they caught him dragging a trailer in there, and they figured out what he was doing. But all he was doing was taking his day cab down to a local drop lot, hooking to a trailer and driving off like he owned it. And these big plants and stuff, they don't pay no attention. You know, they don't have time to pay attention. But yeah, especially if you own your truck and trailer, make sure you park it in a secure place. And keep good insurance on it. That's all I can tell you. Because they out to get your stuff. But y'all take care of yourselves. Be safe. Please like and subscribe. And I appreciate all the people who subscribed off that last video. And, y'all have a fine day. And I'll catch you on the flip side.